My name is Ken Lund. I live in Yucaipa, California. It's a 1953 GMC. My grandfather bought it new in '53. He used it as a farm truck on 5 acres of lemon grove down near Vista, California, near San Diego. In the 10 years that he owned it, he repainted it orange. He then again repainted it yellow. It's now back to the original color. He died in '63. The truck sat in storage at a friend's auto wrecking yard for 3 years till I turned 16. 1966, when I turned 16, that's when I got the truck. Of course, it didn't look like this then. Then it was still yellow and green. Being a high school kid, first thing I did was paint a racing stripe across the hood, put 10-inch cheater slicks on it. I thought it would make it go faster. All it did was make it break things faster. I used it off and on for all through high school, and then it sat for many years at my mom's house. In 1975, we put in the new engine, and now it's got 40,000 miles on the new engine from 1975. In 1985 is when we restored it. That's when it went back to the original color. Had some chrome work done because the grill wasn't originally chrome. It was all painted. The bed is all now mahogany with stainless steel strips. Oh, and the gas can on the side of the truck. That's kind of interesting. Granddad used to go deer hunting in Utah, so he would drive from Vista, where he lived, to Utah. He could possibly make it as far as Baker, but because the old truck only got about 11 miles per gallon, people think the old 6-cylinders got good mileage. GMCs didn't. He needed to have the gas can to extend his range to go deer hunting in Utah.
So I wonder how many deer this thing hauled for him.
A few. At some point, I was in Utah, and I was at a swap meet and found the old evaporative cooler that's hanging on the passenger side. Those were an interesting thing back in the 50s, before air conditioning. You fill it up with water, and the air blows in and makes a turn into the car, and it's somewhat cool. It's more refreshing when you slam the door and this water splashes on the passenger. But then, of course, you got to have the desert water bag if you were going to be traveling across the desert, or to refill the air conditioner with water. I've now been driving the thing like this since 1985 is when it was painted. Take it to truck shows. I've driven it as far as Reno to the truck show, and I drove it to Phoenix. So it is roadworthy. I also upgraded the engine. Even though it had the new engine in it, I found an old tri-power intake manifold, so now it's running 3 one-barrel carburetors. I found somebody that was recasting the old cast iron headers, and so it's got all vintage 50s speed equipment on it. To make it go down the road a little better, I've changed the rear axle to a later model rear axle. It's a real drivable.
What's the transmission in it?
Transmission is the original 4-speed. It's got a granny gear, the super compound low first gear, and then the second, third, and fourth with the high-speed rear axle that's in it, because now it's got 308 rear-end gears instead of 411. So 70 miles an hour is like 2,200 RPM. So it's a cruiser. That's the story of my old truck.